Okay, so the recording has started, and by continuing to be in this meeting, you are consenting to be recorded. So welcome everyone and good evening, and welcome to our first ever webinar for Data 460, Section 6380. And I'm Linesh Daway, and I'm going to be the instructor for the class. And as I'd mentioned to a couple of you earlier, who were in this meeting, that I'm not a big fan of titles. So you can just call me Linesh, whether you're in webinar or whether you're writing emails or addressing me in the classroom anytime. Please, just keep it to Linesh, and that will be fine with me. Absolutely. Okay. All right. So moving along, some few meeting etiquettes. As soon as my screen starts working, yes. Yeah, we are a small crowd today, so I don't expect to have a lot of distraction. No need to go through everything that I have put up on this slide here, except that, if you have any distractions around you, please, be on mute. But feel free to, unmute yourself, speak up, be on the camera if you have to. And that would be nice. Actually, it would be nice to put a face to the names here that are there. So please, if you have to speak up and be on the camera, absolutely not an issue at all. And as I'd mentioned, most of these webinars that you would have 5 in total. And I'll go over the in details, but you'll have 5 webinars in total, including this one. And I hope not to go over, an hour or hour 15 minutes. That has been the max in the last semester. But in any case, if we go really, really over, I would try to, cut it down at an hour and a half max. That would be the max ever. But I'll certainly ask you if we go over, if it's okay with you all. Okay. All right. With that, let's move on. So I did provide my introduction, so I'm not going to go into details. There's a YouTube video you can take a look at. But I know you may not be introduced to TAs of the class here, teaching assistants, AO and TAO. So I'm going to give them the opportunity to quickly introduce themselves. AO, do you want to go first?
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Ayo Akinwale. I'm one of your TAs, so we're here to assist you. Whatever the situation might be, just reach out to us. We'll let you know if it's something that we can handle, we do. If not, we escalate, and trust us, we'll be able to find a solution to it. Thank you, and you're welcome to this class.
Thank you, Ayo. Teo?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Temitayo Joseph. Call me Tayo. I'm part of the class. I'm part of the class. I'm willing to assist in whatever capacity I'm able to do. So feel free to contact me, and I'm willing to assist and to support. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both. And guys, let me tell you, again, this class is very lucky to have both AO and TAO, 2 TA, not one, but 2 TAs for this class. And that's how important this class is going to be for you. And this is how you want to treat this class as really, really special, important. You're getting closer to your degrees. You're getting closer to your certification if you're doing that, or, for whatever reason you're doing this course. This is a 400 series course. We want you to be successful. One of the reasons why our program director and faculty have ensured that you get all the help that you need. And of course, you'll have to make sure that you're not asking for help at the last minute. And we'll go over that. But at any point in time for your assignments, if you need help, you can take help from AO and TAO. They're not in the classroom directly, but you will be creating a Salesforce ticket, and I've provided the link there. And I'll go over this again, towards the end of this, session today, on how to create a ticket and how it's going to get routed. And you have to ensure that you fill in the information correctly so that it gets routed to AO and TAO, who can quickly, take a look at it. Again, they're not chatbots. They're not there 24/7. So you have to keep that in mind. But I'll go over this one more time when we get there. Okay. All right. So moving along. So this course is divided into 4 modules. and it will provide a hands-on project-based study of AI and machine learning solutions for complex problems. And the topics include, NLP, natural language processing. And it's a hot favorite topic now for the last many, many months, ever since ChatGPT has come out. NLP all of a sudden, and LLM models, large language models, have become so popular that many, even outside of data analytics world, is knows of what LLMs are, or what ChatGPT is, or what GPT models are, right? That's how NLP is becoming so popular now. Sentiment analysis, still, something that a lot of companies are banking on and wanting to keep doing, because it lets them know, it brings them closer to what their customers are looking for and what they think about their products. Computer vision, another something that's not just popular but very, very useful tool that has become, that is going to be used, and it's being used in so many different ways. And that's what you'll be also looking at, all the different aspects of computer vision. And lastly, but not the least, you'll be also talking about intelligent virtual assistants, right? So that's another area that is really booming. And you'll see a lot of intelligent virtual assistants around you now. So in module 1, the focus would be on natural language processing and natural language understanding. You'll be focusing on bag of word models. You learn about bag of words model and other vectorization methods. You'll be using Python and an AWS SageMaker. And each of these modules would have a discussion and a quiz component, every one of them. So the first week of every module will have a discussion and quiz. Okay, that's going to be the pattern. And I'll go over that week by week, what you can expect. All assignments and tutorials to be completed in the AWS Academy Learning Lab. And I'll talk about that soon. Module 2 is going to focus purely on sentiment analysis. You'll be using AWS SageMaker to apply sentiment analysis, and that's going to be your assignment. Module 3 is image understanding models, and basically focusing on computer vision. You'll also do a little refresher on the CNNs that you may have learned earlier. And of course, you'll be using the AWS lab again, and specifically the Amazon Recognition Service for image classification assignment. And then module 4 would be about intelligent virtual assistants. You'd also learn about AWS Lambda and Lex services. And finally, although you would learn about general artificial intelligence and generative AI throughout, we'll be focusing on that during the module 4, and also during the final webinar. I plan to kind of go over a bit of LLMs at this point. So we'll talk about that, what LLMs are and what's the hype about, or why the popularity, and so on. So we'll talk more during that final webinar. Okay, so overall, this is the complete view of all the 4 modules that you'll have. Each module consisting of 2 weeks each. Okay. All right. So talking about the course lab. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry. Let me go back. Any questions on what I just covered so far? Anyone? Okay, I'll take the silence as no.
No question for now.
Thank you. All right. So for the course, I have sent out an email to each of you for inviting you to this AWS Academy Learner Lab. Remember, you will have to complete all your labs in this particular lab, all your assignments in this lab, and not use even if you have a personal AWS account, please do not use that, but use the lab instead. And that invitation has been sent out. If you have not seen the email yet, please check your spam folder. Many times I've seen that happen. It has gone to a spam folder, and or maybe you have not noticed it and may have already deleted it. So look at your deleted folder as well in case you've done that in the last couple of days. But yes, very important. It's a two-step process to get logged in to the lab. Some of you may have already used this in the past, and so maybe you know the drill. This is just another instance of the lab that has been created for you, and this instance has a number 54718. Okay. Any questions on the lab? Did you guys hear? Got the email? Did you all see the email at least, even if you may not have logged in yet?
Yes, and I logged in.
Excellent.
Yeah, I also log in.
And nice. All right. Anyone here who did not see the email at all? Okay. I'll take the silence as you all got it. Thank you. All right. Okay. So these are the four numbers you want to keep in mind. Okay. And what are these four numbers? You have 4 quizzes, you have 4 assignments, you have 4 discussions, and 1 tutorial as part of this course. So always keep this in mind, that this is, as I said, the quizzes and discussions, part of each module, assignment, again, 1 each for each module, and there's 1 additional tutorial, I believe in module 3, that you will have, and that's also a graded tutorial, okay? So some key points about the announcement. So yes, I intend to use a lot of our announcement section, and some of the key points are: do not skip any announcements in the classroom, please. Especially whenever you get to know that there is an announcement made in the classroom, please take a look at it. Now, it's quite likely that if there are multiple announcements within the same week, you may have some duplicate information carried over. And the reason I do that, because sometimes people look at the top announcement, and then if there's anything below that, it probably would not go in there. So if anything within the week, I will try to copy that information. So the top announcement always has all the information that you need for that week. Okay. Webinar recordings, they would also be posted within the announcement. So as soon as we are done here, if I get the recording from the cloud tonight, I will post that recording tonight, along with the copy of this presentation in the PDF format. You will see both of that coming to you and will be posted within the announcements section. Links for tasks and activities also, as you may have seen with the week 1 announcement that went out, you will see that I provided links for you. So in case you don't want to click on contents and go to each of them, you can still go through what you have in the announcements and just keep clicking on to all the tasks and activities that you need to complete for that week. And the other thing that I do, and some of you who have been in my class before know that I provide great statistics, right? It is nothing super secret. Of course, I will not put your names across it. I do not announce or put up any information about any individual, but I'll put up a class statistics, right? I put up a chart that will show, hey, what's the average, the median, and all that. I put up a nice little chart for every kind of submission, like for discussions and assignments and tutorial, if any. I would kind of try to put that up for you to take a look at. And this is more for motivation, just to motivate you folks, and just to know where your class stands and what you may need to do. And maybe you think you're doing very well, only to find out, hey, the class is doing much better and I need to really get up to speed. So we all want to reach that gold standard, guys. I always keep telling you that. Reach the gold standard. We are in the 400 series class. I want you to reach gold standard for everything that you do within this course, whether it's discussion postings, whether it's quizzes, whether it's your assignments. I want you to really succeed and do well and be prepared for the capstone project, right? So this is not a step after all your 100, 200, and 300 series courses, but this is a step before your final course for this degree. So keep that in mind and do the best you can and use whatever that you need here, research power and everything that you need, all your resources, put that to play and ensure that you do the best here. Okay. Any questions on announcements? Okay, take that as no again. And yes, one final thing, assignment, tutorial, or quiz changes. Again, yeah, that's another important point I wanted to mention. So typically, if anything, if there's any updates, we've already made that by the first day of the course. But again, remember, you are in a cloud environment. The whole lab is not an on-prem setup, not a setup that is, it's concrete and doesn't change. Sometimes things change. Sometimes your assignment, and we kind of, somebody who does that earlier kind of finds out, hey, something is not right here. This step is really not there anymore, or this option is not there anymore. Things of that nature happens because cloud is constantly changing. So you are working on a production type environment here, which, at times, changes without notice. And that's why we have to kind of make updates to anything that we see or we hear from you or we see it ourselves, right? So if there are changes mid-flight while this course is on, I will be posting that within the announcement also. So keep an eye, and another reason why you want to keep an eye on it. Okay. Discussions. 4 very important points about discussions, because again, if you really want to do well, then remember these 4 things about discussion. First and foremost, try to post your initial, submit your initial post as early as possible, by end of day Saturday preferable, or Sunday the latest, because it will give time for your classmates to get engaged, to learn. Remember, this is one segment, guys, that is, you're going to have a lot of learning from each other and through your own research as well. So you're going to leverage the research done by your fellow classmates and what you would have done, and engage and participate in that discussion, questions, and getting comments and getting acknowledgement from your peers here. So always try to get to this as early as you can. Comment on 2 classmates' posts. Remember, besides your initial posting, you will be commenting on 2 other posts. Okay, so that's another aspect to keep in mind. And this comment is not less replying. So if Abby puts up an initial post, and let's say Akui comes in and just responds to Abby's post, Abby, just by acknowledging is not a commenting on the classmate's post. Commenting on classmate's post would be when Abby would go to initial posting of Akui and say, okay, Akui, it's a great post. Thank you for posting. I like this about your post. Or what did you mean by this, right? Or what do you think about this? That's what is commenting on other people's initial posting. Okay. Respond to all instructor and classmates' comments or questions. The least you can do is just acknowledge, right? Acknowledge the fact that you got a response from your instructor, from your classmates on your initial post. So you need to respond that. One of the reasons why I say if you do this early, you'll be able to complete all these segments, all these parts, right? You're going to be graded based on all these 4 aspects. And last but not the least here, remember, if you have a late initial posting, or if you have no comments, if you come in on Tuesday night, you're putting in your initial post, and yeah, well, you may be out of luck. You may not hear from me. You may not you get any feedback or comments from your classmates. Guess what you're going to do? You're going to comment on your own post to enhance it. So this is what, if you don't want to do this, maybe you'll have to post it earlier so that somebody can comment on your post, right? The least is you're going to hear from me, okay? I want to do that. But again, if you're going to be doing it Tuesday night at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, maybe you're out of luck, my friend. So please keep this in mind. I want you to remember all these 4 aspects. You are going to be graded on all these 4 aspects. So do not assume that just by putting in your post, commenting on two people's postings or two classmates posting, you're done. No, you're not, right? You've done probably 50, 60% of what is expected. Okay. All righty. Any questions? Any confusion?
I'm good for now.
Okay. I heard another voice as well. Anybody else have any questions? Okay. I'm assuming you guys got it. Alrighty. Excellent. So as I was saying for assignment updates, right? So currently, if you go in, if you have already downloaded all assignment material, maybe you did it on the very first day, like a week back, please go back and check assignment 2 and assignment 3 have been updated. The instruction sheet, only one document, has been updated with minor changes. So please go back and re-download these two assignments. Okay. And as a rule of thumb, folks, before you start working on assignment or tutorial during that week, re-download the files, because in case you've forgotten about which assignment were changed, modified, or what did Linesh talk about during course introduction webinar, you don't want to keep in mind and remember that, right? The best thing to do is before you start an assignment during that week or tutorial, just re-download the files. Okay, that's the best way to make sure you have the most refreshed copy of the assignment. And again, keep an eye on the announcements for any quiz or tutorial or assignment changes. Okay. All right. So this is 50,000 feet view. I know it's hardly legible, right? So I'm going to break this down. This is all 8 weeks of the course, your course structure week by week. But let's break it down. Let's go 4 weeks at a time. So what's happening in week 1? What you see highlighted in yellow is what you will be submitting, right, in the classroom. So your personal introduction posting. I know it's not graded, guys. Don't worry, okay? But it would be nice. It would be nice to know you. I definitely go over, and you may have seen it already. Some of you, I do look at each of your postings. Every posting, I go through that. Whether even if you're replying to someone else, I sometimes even read that as well. So I do put a premium on everything that you post in the classroom and want to read it, whether it's your introduction, whether it's your posting, whether it's your response back to your peers or response back to me. I love to read it. So I would definitely do that. And you'll see that in the classroom. And so you'll have your course introduction webinar, which is right now we are going through. You will have conceptual readings and you will have practical readings as well. So these are the two components that you'll see in most of the modules here. Besides that, you have an AWS Academy lab access that you would have to complete. The email that you saw, that you'll have to make sure that you get access. And please do not wait until next week to get that access, right? Make sure you have it now so that you're going to be prepared for week 2 when you'll be using that lab. Okay. Quiz 1, again, due by the end of this class week, which means end of day Tuesday, next Tuesday. Discussion 1, also end of day discussion. Again, talking about discussion, folks, I should have also mentioned that is one component of the entire classroom where it ends on that day. There is nothing that you could do beyond that. Even if you have any kind of an accommodation, the accommodation never comes with any flexibility in discussion. Sorry, folks, but there's no flexibility in discussions. You can go later for your quiz. You can be late for your assignment. Of course, that late comes with penalty unless you and I have already talked about in advance why you could be delayed, and if there's a legit reason why you could be delayed. But otherwise, I'll be talking about the late penalty also. But again, you have a way to do things in a delayed do things a little later for any of the other components, but discussion will be closed on Tuesday night at 11:59. Done. Week two will have, again, you'll have a module 1 webinar. So at the end of every first week of each module, you will have a webinar. So our next webinar is going to be next Thursday, which will be on module 1. And what I typically do, and some of you may already know this, who've been part of my class, I try to just come up with some additional information or supplement information or something that I want to really touch upon. I try not to do the same what you may have already read about or seen all these different videos. I don't like to repeat that. I would try not to repeat it and make this a boring session for you. So I try to bring up something that's kind of latest, something that's important, some news, some articles, or something in some information that would be relevant for that module, that would enhance your learning for that module. Okay, so that's what these webinars are going to be about. Again, you have a conceptual reading on generative AI and NLP on week 2, and you have an assignment 1, your very first assignment on NLP, where you'll be using AWS SageMaker and Python. Okay, week 3, again, 2 components for reading: conceptual readings, you have practical readings on sentiment analysis, you have quiz number 2 on sentiment analysis, discussion 2 on deception detection, right? That will be your discussion 2. The quiz are typically, you get 2 attempts for your quiz. You don't have to worry about time. You get ample time to finish your quiz. I've never heard of anyone saying that they ran out of time, or it's timed and it was too short. Absolutely not. You have ample time to finish it. You've got 2 attempts. You'll typically have around 10 to 20 questions max. So your first quiz will be of 20 questions, 2 attempts. The one with the maximum score would be taken as your final score for the quiz. Okay, so keep that in mind. So week 3 again, so quiz 2 and discussion 2. Week 4, you would, at the beginning of week 4 or right after the week 4 begins, you will have a module 2 webinar. So that will be after 2 weeks. So our second webinar would be a week from now on module 1. And then 2 weeks later, you have a webinar for module 2, right? So anyway, I'll keep you, there's a slide here for the dates. You'll see an email from me ahead of time in advance when the webinar is due during that week, okay? So you'll have module 2 webinar, you have practical reading on AWS SageMaker, PyTorch, and BERT models. And then you have an assignment 2 on sentiment analysis, right? Using SageMaker, PyTorch, and BERT. Okay, so these are the first 4 weeks of your course. Now, the next 4 weeks, the week 5, you will have a conceptual reading on computer vision. You will have an exercise tutorial on Amazon recognition. So here, there's the tutorial that you'll be completing. So this is the only tutorial you have during this course, and it's also graded. Quiz 3 will be on computer vision, and then you have a discussion 3 on power of image processing and ethical issues concerning facial recognition or image processing. Next, you will have, on week 6, you'll have a module 3 webinar. You have a practical reading on Amazon recognition, and then you'll have an assignment 3, which is building an image classification model using Amazon recognition and Cloud9 services within AWS. Then your final module in the final 2 weeks, week 7, would have the conceptual and practical readings on intelligent virtual assistants, or IVAs in short. And then you have the quiz 4 and the discussion. So you see the pattern, like every alternate week, you have a quiz and discussion. And every alternate week, you have assignments. That's how the pattern is. And the last week, you have module 4 webinar, and then the practical reading on AWS Lambda and Lex services. You have the practical reading on generative AI, and then you have the assignment, the final assignment, where you'll build a simple book a trip chatbot using the AWS Lex template, using AWS Lambda service and Python. Okay, so this is the week by week, course structure. Any questions on the course structure? Okay. All right. So on the webinars, as I said, you have your first webinar, which is today. Your second webinar is again a week from now, which will be on module 1 on August 24th. On September 7th, it will be module 2. And all these webinars are on Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. And I hope this time works for everyone. I haven't heard anything that this time doesn't work for anyone. So I'm going to keep the same time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. Module 2 on September 7th, module 3 on September 21st, and then module 4, which is the final one, which is a week before, little less than a week before the course ends, which is on October 5th. Okay. As far as your grades, your grading scheme, you have got 200 points, 50 points each for your discussions. You've got 200 points for reading quizzes for all your, which is again 50 points each. All your assignments, except for assignment 3, are 150 points. Assignment 3 is 100 points. And you have that during that same module, you have a tutorial, which is worth 50 points. So total of 1,000 points. Okay. Now, the late policy. So late policy is already included in your syllabus, but just wanted to go over with you again. Just want to make sure for any late submissions that you and I have not discussed in advance, whatever, challenges or any hardship that you may have, if you have not talked about that, then there would be a penalty for a 3 percentage points reduction in grade for each day that your assignment is delayed, right? So if your assignment is 5 days late, there could be a 15% penalty for that. So please keep that in mind. I don't want anyone to lose points for this reason. And again, if you need help, I'm going to go over that, one more time, how you can take help from AO and TAO. Once again, they're not going to be working the assignment for you at all. They're just going to solve where you could be having a problem. Again, if you wait until the last day and want to start your assignment in the last day evening on a Tuesday evening and think that they would be around for you to help and they would see your email, well, you're really testing your luck. And if that being the case, even if you land into a problem on Tuesday night and not able to submit it, well, it will be submitted with a late penalty because you've not asked for help ahead of time, right? And earlier. So please start your assignments early. And trust me, you can ask even the students who have taken this course before. None of these, assignments are really tough or rocket science at all. If you start it on time, you'll be done on time, right? In no time, you can finish this assignment if you follow all the instructions, right? Even if you're stuck for whatever reason, if the cloud environment is down, it's not there, something's gone wrong. But if you're following all the steps, you will be done in, you'll be amazed that these assignments in AWS can go really faster than some of the assignments that you may have done in the past. Trust me. And you'll tell me after a few weeks that, what I'm saying is right. You just have to follow the instructions and on time, right? Don't wait for Tuesday, okay? And there will be no extensions after the last day of the course. Absolutely no extensions. Everything ends unless you and I, once again, have talked about an incomplete grade. So if you have not finished everything on the last day of the course, and if you and I have talked about it, that you will not be able to finish it, then we will have to agree on a date when you're going to finish it and you get an incomplete grade. Again, we need to have that conversation. If you're not, I'm going to assume that you're not submitting your final deliverables. Okay? Any questions? All right. So what you'll accomplish in this course, in general, again, you're analyzing data, different types of data for machine learning. You're learning about text data analyzing, and visual data, and sound and all that. And we're building chatbots. So different types of data that you're kind of analyzing now, implementing appropriate AI and machine learning solutions within AWS, and how to deploy and operationalize these solutions within AWS. You evaluate these again, once you're built it, you deploy it, you test it, how you do all that within AWS and using the services in AWS. You analyze ethical issues in computer vision, which is again a very, very hot topic these days. All the ethical issues with AI in general, and also in computer vision especially. And know some popular cloud-based AI. So while you're doing your assignments, you're learning about all those cloud-based, AWS-based, machine learning services and AI services. Okay. As far as the success factor goes, I'll say minimum time. If you plan to spend 3 to 6 hours each week, that's the minimum that's needed. If you're really striving to understand every aspect of the course, really do well, and really participate in your discussions and get the best out of this course, plan to at least spend like 6 to 12 hours. I would say 6 to 8 hours. 8 hours is still a great. I think that would be a perfect average time that you want to really spend, and that's what you'll get the best out of this course, because this course again is scratching the surface, guys. What you're learning in 8 weeks, all these different topics, if you don't spend extra time going on the internet, reading books, or reading or watching more videos and articles, you're not going to be able to really grasp a lot or really take advantage of it, right? So this is just a stepping stone, and I want to really use it as a spring step where you can just step on it and just go on to knowing about other things, knowing more about each of these different aspects that you learn within this course. And start early, as you heard me saying a few times. Do not wait to start on Tuesdays, but start on all weekly requirements much ahead of time, as many of you have already started to do that, and you've already embraced this fact very well. No plagiarism, please. There's no requirement. Trust me. You want to fly solo as much as you can. If you are afraid of working solo at this point, trust me, you are at a point where you'll be flying solo pretty soon. You'll be gone out of the school with a degree in hand and with a job in hand, and you'd be working by yourself. So you want to take it. This is a wonderful learning, a very safe place where you can easily do what you want to do, fail if you have to, but again, succeed on your own, learn everything on your own, do everything on your own, right? It's a very, very an environment where you can do all of that without thinking about, hey, what's going to happen. But if you do the same, if you go into your job on your day one, if you're not going to be able to do what is expected of you, you know what could happen next, right? So again, take advantage of it. Do not get into saying, okay, it's Tuesday morning or Tuesday afternoon, let me just copy the stuff, because again, plagiarism is not what you get into this. You're not going to get the best out of this course, okay, if you do that. Participation is key. That's where you learn the most, with participating in your discussions and into any questions that your friend, your classmates would have, and submit on time. Again, I want you all to succeed. Don't want anyone to be penalized for anything. That's the last thing I want to do. And that's not me. That's not my job here. My job is to make you succeed. My job is not to cut points here and there. But again, I have to be fair to all students. And so please help me to help yourself, right? To help you. So make sure that I can help you. If you can, make sure you do the right things within this class, within this course, okay? All right, so how to get in touch with me? That's my email. In case you have not seen in the course introduction, this is my email. If you need to talk to advising at any point in time, there's a toll-free number, and there's also an email there. If you need to reach out to a program director for any reason, you have that email address there that you can use to write to the program director. Now, if you want to get in touch with AO and TAO, the best way is, there's a help section there that shows you everything on how you want to create. It also shows you a snapshot of the Salesforce ticket that needs to be created. So go to this help section, and there's link there will take you to the Salesforce ticketing system where you will be creating ticket. Now, some important things to remember, which is also covered within this section, but I'll also put it in the screenshot here, which is when you're creating this ticket, ensure the case type is UMGC Virtual Labs Support. The course type, and sorry, what's that? Type is student, whether you're a faculty or a student, and then you have a subtype, which is data. You will be picking up the program, then you pick up the course. Now you may not see data 460 in the drop down. In that case, you would choose data 445 or data 450, and then you would put in the section, and again you put in all the other information as described. In the comments, make sure that you just put a note there. This is data 460, section this, semester, fall semester, exactly the way I've shown it on this slide here, and then describe your problem. Please, again, do not, keep it short. The more information you provide to AO and TAO, they're going to be useful to you as soon as possible and with and in a very short period of time, right? But if you just put in a one-liner there, I'm stuck at step 138. What does that mean? That would not help at all, right? And again, so there would be a lot of time spent on exchanging emails, trying to understand your problem. So please, the more information you provide, the snapshots could also be attached, right? If you have any kind of an attachment, if you have taken some snapshots, if you have taken some, and you did cut and paste and put it in a Word document, you can attach it here. And then you can provide that information of what has been attached. So provide as much details as possible so that you get the response, the appropriate response that you need in the shortest possible time. Again, do not assume they're watching the emails every single minute, or their chatbots. They're going to be checking the emails maybe a couple of times, a few times in a day at the most, right? So again, getting this early as possible is the key, and then the patience game. The other thing that you can also do, and what I would offer you all, is when you create a ticket, ensure that you capture the ticket number, and then send me an email saying I just created this ticket, and if I can have to alert AO and TAO, I would just kind of get them in the loop there in the email, say, hey guys, please, this is the ticket number, go look out for it. Because sometimes if you have not populated some of the fields in the ticket correctly, it could be routed to someone else, right? And they would not get this ticket at all. So again, that's why I'm saying you want to send a ticket number to me, and I can forward to them on your behalf. Okay. All right. Any questions? Okay, I'll take the silence as no. So we went over faculty introduction. You got introduced to AO and TAO as well. We talked about course introduction. We talked about course lab, course stats, some numbers that you want to keep in mind, announcements. We talked about discussions. We went over the assignment updates. We went over the course structure week by week. We went over the grades, late policy, what you'll accomplish in this course, what are all the success factors, and last but not the least, how to get in touch with us. So with that, any questions, folks? Any general questions, anything about the course? Doesn't have to be what we just covered now. AO and TAO, is there anything that I missed that you guys want to add?
Yeah, pretty much. I think you covered everything. Yeah, I don't see anything that you did not cover.
Thank you, AO.
I have a question about
Sure.
So in our last class in data 445, we had to like make an AWS account. I've seen the email, but I haven't like clicked on the link because I've been like afraid of messing stuff up.
No, you won't mess up. It's a
Okay.
new instance. So yeah, this is a new lab. It's a new
Okay.
instance. So yeah, that's why I said do not use your previous instance or your previous lab. Make use of the current lab so that I know that you are correctly in. But I will be still checking that. I'll keep an eye on everyone who's been, has got into the lab correctly. But yeah, Abby, please go ahead and click on that link and create the account in this new lab. Okay. I hope I answered that.
Yeah, the only thing I'm just thinking about now is though it is in the assignment instruction, but they should remember to clean up before they get off their system, because it's very important that they clean everything up. They need to log off, do everything that they needed to do as instructed before they get off their system.
Excellent point there. So what AO is saying, guys, is that ensure that every service that you create, please deallocate it. There are steps within the assignment which specifically tells you how you would deallocate resources, free up the resources, because there were a couple of students in the past who ran out of the resource, ran out of all the credit. Remember, this credit is more of $100 is more than enough. Trust me, you can do this assignments multiple times and still not hit to that $100 credit mark. But if you keep all your resources open, do not kill them or remove or shut them down correctly as been instructed, you could just do one assignment and it will chew up your entire credit. And it is a very difficult job. You cannot, there's no way for me to kind of go back and reset your credit. It's a another long and difficult process to set up another account for you, and you will lose time. Okay, so please, and another, it adds to your frustration, to everyone's frustration. So please ensure that you deallocate or shut down the resources as instructed. Good point there, Ayo. Thank you. Any other questions?
I have a question. What are the readings for the quizzes, for all the quizzes?
It's in the classroom. If you go to click on week 1, there's conceptual readings, practical readings. You will all see that within the classroom itself. Preeti, did you have an issue? No, you did not see the week 1. When you click on week 1, you did not see any of the links there for the videos or for all the readings there?
I see week 1 conceptual readings
Yes,
under.
that's exactly what I'm talking about. Yep, absolutely.
Okay. So those 2 links.
Yeah, so there are multiple. So there could
Okay.
be conceptual reading, there could be a practical reading, and
Okay.
anything that you see within the week is you want to kind of cover them to ensure that whether they are reading material, whether there's a book, there's an article, or whether there's a video, it will be all part of that sections there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good question. Any other question? Okay, are you guys ready to take this on and do an excellent job this semester in this course? Are you guys ready to rock and roll?
I'm ready to go.
Okay, excellent. You're not ready to rock and roll, Sheldon? That's what you're telling me? You're just ready to go from here, but not ready to
No,
rock and
I guess I can rock and roll if you want.
roll. Sorry, there are no points for that, Sheldon,
Ah, darn.
unfortunately. Just kidding, but thank you. Okay, so all right, looks like no further questions here. But if there's any, please feel free to put it in the instructor section there in the comment or in the questions. Or you can send me an email if you'd like. If there are any questions, I know a couple of you have already done that, and that's how we'll kind of keep in touch here. But again, we'll meet next Thursday for our next webinar. Okay, until then, good luck. I hope you guys enjoy the material and complete all the deliverables on time. Okay, good luck. Thank you, guys. Okay, have a wonderful
Thank
night.
you so much.
Thank
Okay,
you.
take care. Bye.
Thank you.